Have you ever thought about creating a coffee table book?
Yeah, especially if you have some art, and especially if creating that book might have surprising psychological benefits.
What about an illustrated coffee table book of your poetry, personal reflections, or maybe journal excerpts?
Yeah, and if you're a novelist, have you ever considered creating a picture book of your novel as an introduction to your novel or as an extra for fans?
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to help someone with that idea.
Yeah. I took on the challenge of creating my very own beautiful coffee table book using my personal reflections in AI art, and this is what I got.
And we can help you make one of your own with your words and your images, whether AI created or not.
That's right. And you don't have to be an artist. You don't even have to have written a word yet, because we can help you every step of the way to get the words and even to get the art.
I'm Rose, Alkira Publishing's book designer.
And I'm Tahlia, managing editor. Together we run Alkira Publishing, where we support authors with editing, book design and publishing.
We also have a picture book and self-publishing support imprint called Escarpment Publishing. And Tahlia's book, Psychemagination, is an experiment for Escarpment Publishing. It's one for adults. It's a picture book for adults.
Yeah. And we're really pleased with the results, not just in terms of the book itself, which is truly beautiful, but also in the personal benefit of having such a book. There's nothing quite like being able to read words and view images that you've created that have had an impact on you.
If you've ever created any kind of art, whether photography, drawings, AI, you've probably ended up with a hard drive full of beautiful images and they just sit there. But what if you could flick through those images by having them out on your coffee table and looking through them in the pages of a book, your own personal book, one that you can also put up for public sale if you want to sell to your friends and family.
And if you've ever written poetry, wouldn't you love to see it in a stunning book like this one, accompanied by your own drawings or photographs or images that you've made yourself?
We see enormous potential in this idea for ordinary people who might never thought of creating a book of their own, to end up with something that speaks from their heart to the world, or maybe as a book of insights for their descendants, a kind of poetic or snapshot memoir, something that for many might be a lot more achievable and more fun than the usual way of creating a memoir, or even just like a modern type of photo album, really, because all our photos become just on hard drives, and we used to have, like, I've looked through your old photo albums and it's just sleeves of these photos, but we don't really do that anymore because it's all digital.
Yeah. So what if you chose the best of them and then the writing is your reflection of them, your memories of the moment, right? So you can't do that in just a straight picture book that you get from your local office works or whatever. Well, they'll print stuff into a book, but there's no space for writing. There's no space for your personal reflection on that, So I think there's definitely a space there. So you could go back through your photos and choose the key moments of your life, and then you write something about that, and then you put it into a book like this. And if you don't know what to write, then you work with someone like me who can inspire and stimulate you to get the words,
It's like a visual way of creating a memoir.
Yeah. And if you're my age or older, you've probably considered writing the normal kind of memoir. But I bet you either haven't started writing or you've done a bit and given up. Perhaps because the job seems too overwhelming, or you've discarded the whole idea because it's hard to remember your life, because you're not a particularly good writer, or because you think your life isn't interesting enough.
Everyone's got an interesting life.
Yeah, I think so.
But you don't need to be an author per se for a book like this, because as you can see, there doesn't need to be a lot of words. You don't have to try and tell the whole story. Instead, you take some key insights from your life, illustrate with them with photos you have, or create them with AI images. The words could just be your reflections of the images, perhaps photos from your life, or like the words in this book, they could be reflections on the AI images you've created following some introspective art exercises.
Yeah, of which there are many in the introspective art exercises section of this book.
Few words lowers your editing costs considerably and makes the process of writing a memoir a lot less daunting. And AI art generators are not difficult to use with a bit of practice and a few pointers in the right direction.
pointers that we can give you.
Making a book like this is a wonderful creative opportunity, not only for self-expression, but also for your psychological well-being. Stay tuned to hear about the surprising psychological benefits of creating this kind of book. Are you going to tell us now?
Yeah, well, these books show you what's possible. And if you don't already have some artwork or writing to start from, the introspective art exercises in this book provide starting points for your reflections. So you don't need to worry about what kind of content you might put in such a book.
And if you're thinking of a memoir-style book or an illustrated companion for your novel, we'll give you instructions for how to come up with the content.
Yeah, if none of the introspective art exercises in here are right for you, we can give you a few key questions followed by personal instructions to stimulate the kind of insights you'd want to include in your picture book memoir.
And if you already have plenty of art and no words, Tahlia can help you find a few words to express what resonates with you about the images you choose. You might be surprised at what comes up.
And now to the surprising psychological benefit of having a book where images and personal reflections come together.
It has to do with the introspective nature of the words you choose, I'm guessing, and the relevance to you of the images. So even if you don't think you're a particularly wise person, you might be surprised at what you come up with when you'll start asking yourself the right questions.
That's right. We all have some life wisdom, and the older you get, the more of it you accumulate. And a project like this will bring it to the surface.
So how do you use this book?
Well, I have it on my coffee table. I open it at random and I reflect on what I see. When I first opened it at random, I was surprised to find that on most pages there is a little bit of wisdom for me. It might not be relevant to anyone else, but it's something that came to me at some point in my life, and it's something I need to be reminded of every now and then.
Can you give us an example?
Well, yeah, the other day I said to my husband, I know I should do that, but I really don't feel capable. Then I opened the book to a picture of a closed door and I read the words, even a locked door can be opened, I just have to find the key.
Right. And did that make you feel more hopeful?
It made me feel that I could do that thing, right? That maybe I did just need to find the right key, the right way of thinking about it, or the right kind of support.
So if someone were to create a coffee table book of their own like this, what are the steps they'll need to go through?
First, I suggest you read Descent into the Underworld, links in the description. That will show you the potential of the idea and give you some ideas for how to get started. If you already have some artwork, it'll give you ideas for how you could reflect on it to come up with some words. Or you could even just follow the exercises in the book and come up with your very own version of a journey into the underworld.
And once you have some materials to go in the book, put them together and get onto us and we can discuss your project.
That's right. Once we know what your aim for the book is and whether you want a hard book, an ebook as well as a paperback, we can then help you decide what size you want it to be, and then the text gets edited.
There's size options.
Yeah.
You'll give me the images and I'll make sure their resolution is good to print, and I'll resize them so they fit the book. Then I lay it out so it all looks gorgeous. You check it over and I make any changes you want, and we have it printed and distributed, and then you get to hold it in your hand and give copies to your families and friends, or sell it if you want.
And you don't have to have it all worked out before you contact us either, because once you're sure you want to work with us on your project, we'll help you get something that you're going to be very happy with.
Because that's what we do at Alkira Publishing. We help authors through every stage of their journey with editing, book design and publishing. And if you're as happy with your coffee table picture book as Tahlia is with her, you'll be very happy indeed.
So let us know in the comments if you have any questions about this idea, and check out our other video which goes into the content of this particular book in more detail.
And if you'd like to talk to us about your book idea, even if it's not a coffee table book, because we publish novels mainly and memoirs, head to alkirapublishing.com and get in touch.
And don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment and so on, and we'll see you next time.